It took 5 years, but John Gignac's quest to make carbon monoxide detectors mandatory in Ontario has been successful. The provincial government has made it law that all houses must have carbon monoxide detectors. Gignac has been pushing for this ever since his niece and her husband and daughter died from a gas leak. She was an Ontario provincial police officer in North Bay. Gignac has since created a foundation to spread awareness about the dangers of carbon monoxide, and he's with me by phone this afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What was going through your mind as this legislation on carbon monoxide detectors was being debated and passed yesterday?
Well, my mind was set on, I was kind of happy and I was sad. Happy because we finally, after 5 years, have got the government to do the right thing, pass the law and protect people in Ontario. But sad because today is the actual date of the tragic accident that happened to our family. So I have got mixed emotions, and of course, coming closer to Christmas time, my emotions are even more at the surface. So it's mixed emotions.
How have you been holding up over the past couple of years?
Good. I'm a type of person that when I have something in front of me and people give me opposition, I become even more determined. So to see this done after 5 years is good, because now I can move on to something else and help not only protect people in Ontario, but Canada.
Can you take us back to what happened to your family, John?
Yes, it was 5 years ago that my niece in Woodstock, she was an OPP officer. They had a backup in their gas fireplace that put all the carbon monoxide gases back into their homes, and it took most of their lives. My niece lived for a week afterwards. So it was a very tragic accident, and it's very difficult for us to still come to grips with it.
Were carbon monoxide detectors top of mind for anybody in your family back then, 5 years ago, even with you being a firefighter?
You know, it's funny. It was one of those things that slipped through the cracks. 5 years ago, it just seemed to be one of those things that nobody seemed to know a lot about. I was one of them. I was a firefighter and was responding to calls, and I didn't have a CO alarm to protect my own wife. And Lori, being an OPP officer, she never had a CO alarm in her home either, so it was unfortunate. I wish I had it clued in, but I didn't.
How do you think the feelings and the attitudes towards carbon monoxide detectors has changed over the years?
Well, the awareness level is way higher now because of the 5 years of the fighting with the government. It's produced a lot of awareness on Ontario. 5 years ago when we started, the statistics were 20 to 25% of the people had CO alarms or knew anything about carbon monoxide. Now we do the same type of survey, we find that it's up to 75 or 80%. So, the awareness level is way higher now because of the advertising and the work that the foundation's been doing, and the politicians and other people in the industry. So the awareness is a lot higher.
And we've seen changes in municipalities across Ontario, Sudbury being one of them, actually. We've had some changes here. Actually, it was a couple of years ago. I was renting an apartment, and my landlord came to my door one day with a carbon monoxide detector and said, "You have to put this in your apartment." He said, "I have to give this to you," being a tenant-landlord relationship. So there have been some changes out there locally.
That's right. Most communities passed bylaws as a stopgap until we got this law passed. I guess some people felt that it was never going to get passed, so we went ahead and did bylaws. But also, it's been on the news, on the radio, and for the past 5 years, and people are finally listening and getting CO alarms put in their home, especially landlords.
Are there any gaps in this legislation as far as you can see, John?
Not really, because for 5 years now, we've gotten everybody on board. The Fire Chief Safety Council, the Insurance Bureau of Canada, the local fire departments, and our foundation and other politicians have got together and worded this thing so that it's almost perfect. It's going to land in the Fire Prevention and Protection Act, and it's going to be policed by the fire departments, so it's landed in a perfect spot.
So if people are going out and buying these carbon monoxide detectors for the first time, there's a number of different kinds. Some range as cheap as like $26. I'm seeing some that are $126. What's a good detector to get?
Any CO alarm is good. They'll do the job. Just some are a little bit better than the others. The ones that I really like and I have in my home, they have a digital display. When you get that CO alarm, there's a little booklet that comes with it. And as most people do, they throw it away. I'm suggesting don't throw that away. Read that booklet, and when that alarm goes off, it'll tell you the severity of the alarm. But always do the same thing. Call 911, get the fire department to come over, err on the safe side of safety, and call 911, evacuate the home, and they'll find out whether there's a problem in the house. But any CO alarm, get it in your house today.
Do you have any thoughts as to why people may not have taken carbon monoxide detectors so seriously the way we would treat, like, actual fire alarm or fire detectors?
A lot of people, it's one of those things that people really don't understand. That's why when we formed the foundation, it was the Hawkins-Gignac Foundation for education, because education, we need to educate people. This is a danger that exists in 88% of the homes in Ontario. There's a possibility that you have something in your home that's going to cause carbon monoxide at some time or other. And people need to be educated about getting their appliances checked on an annual basis, because it's going to give out that gas and cause problems for your family. So education is huge here. We need to educate all people about not just putting a CO alarm in your home, but educate yourself on the dangers of carbon monoxide.
What's next for you and your foundation now, John?
We're going to still do the education because, like smoke alarms, 1991 till now, we still have people that don't have them in their homes and don't treat them properly and know how to use them. I'm going to still stay on the education in Ontario, but I want to get this right across Canada so all our fellow people in Canada are protected the same as we are here in Ontario. As you know, Yukon Territory passed it last year. We were a part of that. Now we're going to be part of this in Ontario. We're hoping to be a part of everybody in Ontario being protected.
Wonderful.
Canada, sorry.
I appreciate your efforts and appreciate your time, John. I wish you best of luck.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate your time. And if people need more information, they can go to endthesilence.ca.
All right. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
John Gignac, he's a retired firefighter and uncle of a woman who died, along with her family, of carbon monoxide poisoning. And we appreciated his thoughts on that this afternoon.